Gospel Diaries.
She gonna say something.
Episode
She said,
26.
"Hey, Doc."
Hey, tell her that I'm getting ready to
Doctor.
show you
She hear
Patricia
you.
Dunlap.
where the door is that James used to sneak me in. Ask her, does she remember that?
Gospel Diaries. Listen, I am more than excited. I am in the home of Dr. Patricia Dunlap, one of the, well, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? The first percussionist at Universal Kingdom of Christ, way back, what year?
1962.
1962. So we're going to be going over her experiences at Cosmopolitan Church of Prayer, formerly known as Universal Kingdom of Christ. But before we do anything, I just want to say hello to you. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
If
And it's so good to see you. It's so good. I didn't even know you were in the city.
Yes. Well, it was National Turkey Day.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Y'all know what that is. That's what is that? Thanksgiving, right? So I was like, I want to come sit down and talk with you and just recap on some of your experiences. So tell us a little bit about your humble beginnings.
Like my humble beginnings, I tell you, I think about it all the time, a lot. I think I told you before how I used to go to Holy Cross, and that's where Cosmopolitan did move to years after. But I would go to Holy Cross, and that's where my mother thought I was going, and I would run around the corner. I would walk down 63rd and Langley and then make a left and go east. And then I'll swirl around and be Reverend Hayes' nephew, James, would let the door up and I would sneak in because I lived right across the street from the church, directly across the street, and I could hear the music and the singing and the organ playing, and I just loved it. I just loved it. And then I said, I would go across the street to our neighbor, and we peeked through the windows and everything, and I was determined to get in there. And then my mother finally called me. She said, just go, just go. So, and I just saw that little black drum set empty. It was a black drum set, wooden drum set. And it had the bass drum and a snare and a cymbal. And there was nobody in there to play it. And I had talked to Reverend Hayes, and I said, I think I'll be able to play it, and he let me on there.
So in that particular era, right, was that particular sound or church with that much enthusiasm, was that kind of foreign to you at that particular time?
In a sense, yes, because basically from going to church, we didn't hear a lot of gospel.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, going to Holy Cross, Catholic church and everything, they didn't go for broke like the Baptist churches or anything. I used to listen to my grandmother sing. She knew all the songs and everything, and she used to sing them and everything, but it would be a cappella. And I guess that's what made me really enjoy the music, because it's just moving, but it was somewhat foreign to me, because I wasn't really used to that type of music.
That type of carrying on.
Yeah.
Restraint. All right, Gospel Diaries. So that is our opening. We're going to come back with some more great dialogue, and this time we're going to delve a little bit more into the spirit, or Dr. Charles G. Hayes. So we'll be right back.
So many of my friends
All right, we're back, Gospel Diaries, and we have another guest here. Hey!
Yes, this is Cosmo. He was a gift to me by Pastor Smith, and I just love him. It was so kind of him to give Cosmo to me as a little bitty puppy, and he's just got my heart. He has my heart, so he gets into things, but I love him. I just love him to life.
He's adorable. So
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I think this is a perfect segue to say that Pastor Darrell Smith, we love you.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you so much.
And see Cosmo Pastor, he's doing well. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for carrying on the legacy of Father Charles C. Hayes. And I know it may not be as easy as people think it should be.
Yeah.
But I think that you're doing a fantastic job.
A fantastic job.
Yeah. And I want to give a kudos to Ali Cathay.
Yeah.
And Junior.
Yeah.
And Charlie. And then I'm trying to think of anyone else a part of the family.
But Al Jr.
Oh yes,
Because
okay, that's what I said.
Alan Jr. Charles III,
Right.
Charles Hayes, Elder
Charles
the third, and of course Chadwick Sr.
Yeah, Chadwick Sr. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's it from the family, right?
Right.
Well, no.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's delve into the history of Christ Universal
Kingdom of Christ. Yeah.
Okay. So tell us just. What you know from the start of the church.
From the start of the church, well, first of all, I remember the building like it was yesterday. It was the old post office. That's where the post office used to be. And once they moved, then that's when Reverend Hayes had moved into that building. And I remember when they were walking in, I remember because I was looking from my porch. I could see them, and they were all dressed in white. The mothers were there, and all the members that were members at that time, and they marched into the church. Where the door was, right now, far from the alley. It was one of those old, heavy doors. One of those old, heavy doors that, and they used the chain to pull it up. And like I said, my mother thought I was going to Holy Cross.
Holy Cross was that way, right?
Holy Cross is south. It's south, but it is east on Maryland, near Maryland. But I was living over there, across the street.
That building is gone now, right?
Yeah, it was right next to the building, the first building that's up.
Wow.
That's where we used to live. And what happened was, I would go out and I would walk down to 64th Street. And once I went to 64th Street, I would turn to come east. Then I would run down here through the alley, and James would let me in. Reverend Hayes' nephew. And he opened the door so I could fly in there.
And your mom didn't see you, huh?
No, she didn't see me for a while, but then she caught on. You know, old James, he came up here. He was living here from Alabama and stayed with Reverend Hayes and Elder Payne and them, you know, and he would always let me in this way.
Wow.
And all of this was the church, and then the annex was right next door. But it was a beautiful church, because Reverend Hayes had a way of taking something small and making it big.
You should watch out now.
Oh yeah.
Watch out.
But there was a dining room. The dining room was adjacent to the sanctuary, and he had fluorescent lights up in the ceiling, and it's so hard to describe. But at the beginning of each service, he would have the fluorescent lights kind of dim, and it was a kind of like bluish light that's shown. And anytime they wore white.
Wait a minute. You said when they wore shorts and a baseball cap. That's what you said, right?
No,
you mean ripped jeans in the same.
No.
Okay, but there was order.
Oh yes,
okay,
it was
I'm
order.
sorry, okay.
It was definitely order. And once the choir would march, but at that time, now you want to know some history. Back at that time, I remember that it wasn't just the choir that marched. The ministers marched.
okay.
The ministers would march in with the beat. They would march in. The ushers marched in. The nurses marched in. Then the choir would march in. And you'd have all these groups marching in and showing in. And they would hold their hand up. And that always meant that it was victory. We made it.
Okay.
And we would some of the songs they would sing. Of course, what I just love is how I got over, how I've come this far. We've come this far by faith. So
watch out now.
Oh yeah.
So you had Pastor Hayes. Napoleon Payne.
Elder Payne.
Was there
yes.
any other ministers at that time?
Yes, there was Reverend Lewis.
Lewis, who? Sammy Lewis?
No, Reverend Lewis, John Fuller. I'm trying to remember all of them. I know that they were mainly there. Elder Payne, Elder Payne, John Lewis, Reverend Lewis, and Walker, James Walker. Yeah, so it was about that many. Yes, it was, because we only had at one time it was a half hour.
Okay.
Then we were able to move to 1 hour. So it definitely couldn't be the same as morning service. The two services that were basically the same was the morning service at 11 o'clock, and we had 8 o'clock service. Yes.
Really?
Yes, we did.
Oh yeah, because you all used to have service before they even go on air.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because during that time, a lot of people worked during the day. So they would come back and they would pay their tithes and offering and everything, just like we did in morning service. And then the broadcast, we would have that little break. We might get out at anywhere 9 o'clock, 9:30, and we had that break because we had 11 o'clock broadcast. And a lot of people would think, boy, that was late. It was packed. Yes. It was so packed that Reverend Hayes would have the kids, the younger kids, when they would come, he would let them sit on the pulpit so the adults would have a seat. It was packed.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, I did say we were going to end this segment, but you just brought up a good point, and I have to ask you this. So, so you all started at 11, the broadcast. So, I know some people will, come in and want to hear the choir and then want to put that finger up and scoot on out to go to another. So what was his policy on that? Well,
at that time, we were about the last one as came earlier. And they would put their finger up and try to walk out, and Reverend Hayes would say something about it and say, we'd appreciate if you if you all would remain until the service is over.
Yes,
because as soon as the choir finishes singing, then they would want to leave. sometimes. But yeah, he would say something about that.
That's good because that lets you know that Reverend Hayes was about feeding the soul with a
Right,
message.
right.
Yeah, you can get a message from the song, but sometimes that rhema word is totally, well, I ain't going to say sometimes. The rhema word is always different from something that is in a song that's already pre-recorded or already rehearsed.
Right.
So,
But he would always let it be known, the choir is the inspirational part, but you must hear the word. Charles Clancy was a perfectionist. He wanted everything perfect. And we really appreciated it. Sometimes there were, you get a little tired and everything because you're going over the same songs, the same parts and everything. But once the result was just beautiful.
Areas about 79 or 80 after Jesus Can Work It Out. I taught Jesus Can Work It Out to the choir. But after I left, it was the key was everything was changed. It's a song that was composed by George Jordan, but it was changed uh, to when the Warriors sang it, and Diane Williams did it. Diane Williams was not at the church when I left. It was sung by Herbert Williams, and then Diane Williams came along and made a different song completely with Warriors. And I believe Cheat Sheet, who is actually Dr. Patricia Dunlap, is on the drums. But she was the drummer during my time, fantastic musician, along with Edward Weston on the piano. And so it was just a really tremendous team who worked with all of us. The Cosmopolitan, the Voices of Cosmopolitan, actually, they were called the Voices of Cosmopolitan. That recorded and performed it every 3 times on Sunday morning. The same way you heard them on Sunday night at 11 o'clock was the way you started on Sunday morning at 11 o'clock, and then again at 8 o'clock. And it was just a tremendous experience for all of us, a learning experience. And my father in time tonight, stand up over there, mom and dad. And all of my friends, politicians and what have you, have come to share with us. Well, we're going way, way back tonight. We received a phone call and telegram from our minister of music, Mr. Charles Clancy, the minister of music for 11 years in this church. Could not be with us tonight because of relocation, but his prayers was with us and his spirit is here among us tonight. And seeing the multitude, he went up into a mountain.
Listen, because whenever he taught a new song, the basic thing I did, I got the rhythm in my head, and then I would look for different parts where it's like to hit it hard, to get soft, and so, and I would, but it was basically just listening.
so you kind of piggyback off of Clancy too.
Oh yeah.
A lot back then, right?
Oh yes, yeah. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
look! Not only
I
is
know
she, not only is she generous, showing
Yeah.
giving her generosity as a camera woman, but
Right.
she's actually giving us
Jubilee
some nuggets
Showcase.
about Jubilee Showcase. Well,
Right.
since your niece brought that, go ahead. I know you were saying something, but go
Yeah.
ahead and talk about that because your niece wants you to say.
Oh yeah, Jubilee Showcase. When we went to recording, we recorded in the studio. It was just, it was a great experience. I loved it. I loved it when we went to New York and we recorded with Alex Bradford, and they were just, it was just exciting. It was an exciting thing. I just thought that, I mean, you couldn't do anything with me because I thought we were really getting off. We were really going places. But yeah, there were a lot of things, a lot of different types of recording live in the studio. with Jubilee Showcase. And like I said, I remember at first I wasn't able to play the drums at Jubilee Showcase, and I was so hurt. I didn't know what to do, because that was me. I just wanted to be on those drums, and I wasn't able to get on the drums because of the union thing. And since I wasn't in the musicians union at that time, I couldn't play. But Sidor Dow, God bless his soul, he just I went to he talked to Reverend Hayes. Next thing I knew, he paid for me to get into the musicians union so I would be able to play. Yeah.
Well, back to that particular time on Jubilee Showcase when you wasn't in the union. At least you you were able to get those credentials or register rather, and you were able to play the next time.
Yeah, the next time I
And
was able to get on.
we do have that footage, so we're gonna play some of that footage, and we'll be right back.
Charles G. Hayes and the choir of Cosmopolitan Church of Prayer, and everything's all right.
Everything's all right. Everything's all right. Everything's all right. Everything's all right. Everything's all right. Yes, it's all right with me. Everything's all right. 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 Yes, it's all right with me. Ever since I found the Christ. Ever since I found the Christ. Ever since I found the Christ. Yes, it's all right with me. The old account was settled a long time ago. The record is clear today. I watched my...
All right, Gospel Diaries. You know what? If I got a nickel for every time I said, all right, Gospel Diaries, I think I would have a nice
You'd
penny.
be rich. You'd be rich. Yeah.
Funny. Oh, Lord, now I gotta get this laugh off me now. Okay. I was just silly. Okay. Oh, Lord, you gotta be laughing for me. You said you'll be rich. All right, okay. Okay, so let's revisit some of those lead singers. So Cynthia Price.
Cynthia Price, I tell you, she was so easy to recognize because she was so tall. Cynthia had to have been about 6'6" in height, but her and that, how did you feel when you come out the wilderness and God's tomorrow? Yeah, Cynthia Price, Sammy Cheatham. He was also another tall person,
Sammy Cheatham was tall?
Yeah, Sammy Cheatham was a tall man. Yeah, he was tall. Herbert Williams.
Let me tell you the next thing that I do. Lord, here it is. I'm giving it back to you. I'm turning it loose. Hey, sometime when I'm trying.
Emmett Williams. And I'm going way back.
Please go way
Yeah,
back.
that's where what I'm going. Who else? Let me see.
Well, before you see, so Cynthia Price, so you're on the drums on that. So take us into the studio. Now, was it churchy in the studio? It's hard to believe that it wasn't churchy, although I know you had to be professional. But just let me know if you can remember. Was it kind of churchy in there?
In the studio, the only reason why it wasn't real churchy is because they would cut. Okay, cut. We have to redo. They would want to listen to certain tracks and say, okay, we want to know if this track is even. It had to be a different stop and go, stop and go, unlike live recording, because you just keep going. You just keep going, you know. But
But I'm sure
Yeah.
when you all was in the studio, like when she was singing it before they cut it, I know you all was contemplating on doing a two-step or something at least, because the way that woman sang,
yeah,
that
yeah,
woman to pull out
yeah,
something
because she
like
would definitely she sang from her heart. That's for sure. She sang from her heart, and she'd be going back and forth and back and forth, and she was she would make you be inspired. When we used to go on trips, when the choir we would ride the bus, and they would always say, "Give us a beat." Then I would go on to give a beat, because we didn't have the piano and organ on there, but I'd give a beat, and the choir would just be singing on the bus. Have the bus driver just rocking it and everything. We had to watch it because we were on the road, But it was nice.
Did
It was
Reverend Hayes ride the bus with you all? back
Yeah.
then? He did?
Mhm. Yes, he did.
And
Yeah.
I know he is very comical now. Did he make that
Oh.
laugh on that bus?
Yeah. Reverend Hayes. I once told him, I said, Doc, you're in the wrong profession. You should be a comedian.
When I'm down and out,
Jesus.
and I can't find my way,
Jesus.
there's a voice I hear and sounds so sweet. Yes, it does. It sounds like a music in my ear. It's just Jesus telling me
Yes, God.
he'll be by my side. It's just Jesus.
How about Penelope Gregory?
Penny.
Now you actually recorded with her
Yeah.
back in the day. So let's
Uh-huh.
talk about Penelope.
Uh-huh.
Matter of fact, let me say this before you talk.
Go ahead.
Penelope, I just want the world to really embrace and really understand, how inspirational her voice has been, especially during that particular era. I mean, her voice, to me, it soothes my soul. I remember I was listening to one of the albums. This was way back when I was a teenager. And she was the woman that actually drew me into Cosmopolitan's choir because she was singing Just Jesus. I'm like,
Just
who is
Jesus.
this woman?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I'm sorry. Go
Yeah.
I wanted to give my story.
Oh yeah, Penny, she sang that beautifully. I remember when Clancy when he first taught that to her.
Really?
Yeah, I remember when he first taught it, and she sang it in rehearsal. And we said, "Whoa!" Yeah, I didn't know that she had that kind of voice, and that talent. And I mean, and she was young. She was very young, but she was very talented, and singing Just Jesus and Satisfied. She has a beautiful voice, and she still does.
Yes,
And it reminds me so much of the way it was. She still has that clarity to her voice and everything.
Michelle Brown.
Michelle, yeah, I tell you, Michelle, she would have we couldn't go anywhere without singing Michelle's songs, and she basically sang the fast song.
So she was the early Diane Williams.
Oh yeah. She Michelle's. She Weeping May Endure for a
Come on,
Night. Yeah. She would sing that, and I'm telling you that she would just the whole church would just rise up. I'm telling you, she is very inspirational, very inspirational with her singing, and she sang from her heart as well, and would just have you going, just have you going. But all of her songs, yeah,
And she's still around, so we love you. We love you, Michelle Brown.
yeah.
Let's talk a little bit
I
about.
love you, Shell.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do.
To them too, like guidance. Guidance, she's still there.
Yeah, yeah. Pat Guyton.
Philip Feaster's mom. She just had her 70th birthday. Lord, why her name escapes me right now? She's so beautiful. She's a minister too. She do Sunday school.
Okay. You're talking about LaWan Dixon.
Yeah, his mom.
Right. You're talking about Elder LaWan Dixon. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so gospel feast and so explain the gospel feast and the midnight musical.
Okay, the gospel feast that was always done like in October. I remember what did we call it? We called it the I know when we went to the Lutheran School of Theology and did our gospel feast there. We did it in the orchestra hall, and then they started having it at
Kenwood, right? No, not Kenwood.
the church on King Drive. Yeah.
You talking about recently now?
Well, no, where
New
we had
Beginnings?
no, not
Oh, okay.
excuse me,
Mount Pisgah.
Mount Pisgah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I tell you, and the midnight musicals. That's always around Memorial Day. It's very, very kind, and I remember when my younger brother had passed, and him and Alan, they came over here to the house, and Reverend Hayes said, do you want to have the funeral at the church? This was when they were at 842 over there, over at the Holy Cross Church. And I said, Reverend Hayes, I said, I really appreciate it. I said, but you remember, David, he wasn't a member of the church. And he said, oh, no, we're not talking about membership. He took our whole family in as his family. That day, he said, you all are my family, your family. I've known you all ever since you were little kids. And I said, wow. And that's why to this day I even, Charles III, he calls me auntie and I call him nephew, But I miss so much about this man, especially where he would he would have you laughing. He would have you laughing, but he was a true prophet as well. I remember when my mother had an aneurysm, and the doctor has told us, me and my two of my brothers, when we went to the hospital, they said, well, she's not going to make it an hour. Because they drew a picture of her head and this vein and this bubble and said, well, it busted and she's not going to make it. And Reverend Hayes had told me, because I was upset, I was crying in the choir stand and stuff, and he said, stop crying, because she's not going anywhere. It's not her time yet.
Really?
Yes, he did. And I was saying to myself, I said, what is he talking about? Does he understand? They said that she's not going to make it. And he said, it's not her time. She lived 6 years afterwards. That man was a true prophet. Yes, he was a true prophet. So, you know, I miss so much about him. I really do, and I think about him all the time. I think about him, and I'm glad that the legacy is continuing. It's continuing because he started this thing, and it deserves to continue to go on. Yeah.
Well, Dr. Dunlap, thank you so much for allowing me in your beautiful abode. Miss Juanita, thank you so much for holding that camera. Hopefully your arm is not too tired. Out here fun, and little Cosmo is over there asleep.
Cosmo?
Yeah, he's knocked out.
He's knocked out. Yeah.
So, Gospel Diaries, as I always say, love on someone and change a
Yes.
life. Bye. No, before I say bye, Shelby Wills, we love you.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to think of someone that I don't want to leave no one out.
Yeah.
Shelby
Ray Edwards.
Ray Edwards.
Yeah.
Jerome Bell, you're still here. We love you.
Yeah. And now we have Bruce Henderson. Antoine Taylor.
Yes. Tanabe, we love you.
Yeah, Tanabe and Dante
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes. And the choir director, not
Martez. Yes.
We love you.
Oh, yeah.
And his
Yes.
the assistant, the one from New Direct. His name?
Damon.
We love you, Damon.
Yes.
We love you. And you think of anyone?
If we miss somebody, please don't.
Yep,
right. Exactly. We love everybody. We love them all, and we love them that they're continuing to keep things going strong.
Yes. Jessica Head, we love you.
Oh yeah, okay. Jessica. Okay. Yeah, and we're hopefully due to have a live recording in February. So we're looking forward to that too. Yeah.
Hopefully you get a chance to play some drums. Bye, you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Hello, Gospel Diaries. If you would like to help and support to keep this content going, please follow the instructions on the screen and sow into Gospel Diaries so we can continue to bring you this great content. Because I love doing it, but I need your help.